I got my front end buttoned up here. I mean, the plastic and the grill isn't on yet, but the swing arm, control arm bushings are all brand new, and everything's nice and tight up front now. Just got to get the cosmetic stuff back on. But now I'm moving to the back, and not going to be a fun job. Already you can see that's brake fluid. I got under there and just kind of nudged one of the steel lines a little bit, and it started dripping. So they all got cut. And under here, I think you might be able to see it somewhat. In here, well, right here, that's where your axle pivots. And these bushings here inside, they're tight yet, but they look like hammered dog shit. So they're getting swapped. They're getting changed. Now, up here is your proportioning valve, which on most cars that I know of, the front brakes do most of the work. They don't send that much brake to the rear. And this proportioning valve is just frozen solid, and likely has been for probably 10 years or so, and we've been driving it for a long time like that. So instead of screwing around, that thing's just going to get pitched in the junk pile, and I'm going to run straight lines. It's going to get bypassed. It'll be 50-50 all the way around. It's not a good idea. But I'm not getting one out of a junkyard. And we've been driving, like I said, we've been driving this thing for years with that valve frozen solid. So yeah, that's going away. What I'm doing now, just taking the wheel assemblies apart, getting ready to drop this axle. I already took the cotter pin and retainer off for the wheel bearing. These got a little bit of play in them, but I'll repack those and adjust them up, and they'll be nice. And hopefully this drum will come off for me. Well, I gotta set the camera down. But yeah, that's where I'm at with this thing. Now I'm on the rear, just doing it as good as I can. We'll pick up when I'm got a little progress. Alright, there's one side loose. I left the parking brake cable hooked up to the brake assembly there and took off the whole wheel assembly in one shot. That's why I took the drum and everything off of there. And I don't really have to mess with those parking brake cables, so why make more work for myself if I don't have to? And I figured I'd just go ahead and snip them lines off, because you look back here and that's just all covered in all kinds of rust and crud and all sorts of stuff. And if I can't trust that one line, then I can't really trust much of anything back here, so it's all gonna have to be replaced. One thing I do really comes in handy: get yourself a coffee can, and it's not exactly organized, but every single thing that you take off goes in that coffee can, and then the lid goes on there, and then at least you know that all your stuff is in there. Alright, another coffee can for this side, and we'll just go to it. It's probably not the greatest, well, I know it ain't the greatest angle for the camera, but I'm by myself and I just kind of let it roll. You know, somebody was in here. This is red grease on this side. It was white on the other. Take this cotter pin. Well, sometimes I think I ought to just make videos showing what not to do to your car. But, you know, I do a lot of things that seem like bad ideas, and so far they've worked out all right. I don't like the thought of going without that proportioning valve, but There just doesn't seem to be a good replacement available for it. And like I said, we've been driving without it for years and it hasn't made a difference. I imagine if you were braking hard on pavement or something, these little bit of marking on the bearings, but they'll run for a long time yet. Let's check this race. Oh, if the drum will please come off. Pull it straight-ish. Alright. Yeah, they've seen some miles, but still alright. They'll adjust up. I'll repack them. They'll run for a while yet. I'll just keep it on the list of stuff I gotta remember. Oh, looks like somebody changed these brake shoes back here, but not on the other side. I'm still finding out stuff about this car. I know we've had it for years. And here again, I'm going to use this thing when I take the bolts holding the axle up. I'm going to rattle the heck out of them before I even try to take them loose. Just because on the other side there was some corrosion on the bolts, and I would sure hate to break one of these off. That would just ruin my day. So we rattle and watch all the stuff fall out. Tools. Alright, and these things, these don't give you any trouble usually. Except when they stick in the socket. There we go. Right in the can it goes. Well, this is probably going to be a long video. Like a freaking feature-length movie on butchering a Jetta. Lots of brake dust in there. Okay. There's the wheel assembly off. There's 4 bolts and the whole dang thing comes off. Oh, and the spindle. That comes right out too. Now I got 3 bolts holding the axle on. Let's pray they come loose all right. I don't want them to... There's one. And you might be able to see that, I don't know. But it's kind of cruddy. I don't know if it would have come loose if I hadn't rattled it like I did. It might have. It might not have. But on this part of the car, I'm not gambling. Now this one, well, that looks like when it came out of the factory. That's just beautiful. Huh. There we go. Oh, dang it. There we are. Yeah, same for that one. That one's nice and shiny too. Well, it looks like I can't get my impact in there. Or can I? I'll jimmy this thing around a little bit. No, not really. I don't like putting them on crooked. I'll just have to do it the old-fashioned way. I got that going the right way? No, I don't. Oh, excuse me. Oh, she's coming. Oh man, tight sucker, but that's as it should be. I forgot to show, yeah, you got your bolt back here, but you also got a nut up inside of here, so you just jam a 17 in there and I'll take it loose. Alright, so that's that. And there is one rear axle from a 92 Jetta turbo diesel. Nothing under there now. And you can see right here, that's your proportioning valve. And that is just in a terrible state. That's not even going back in. Hell, for all I know, it might have been causing issues. Alright, and here's these bushings. Now this rubber stuff here, that used to be covered with metal. Might still be over here. No, it's gone on this side too. I mean, the bushings they're still tight. So there was no terrible imperative reason for me to go through all this malarkey, but I'm stripping the thing down anyhow. And there was a shimmy somewhere in it. So I want to cover all my bases. And yeah, as far as taking out that valve, I called my channel the Chop Shop for a reason, because I don't always go by the book. I do things that aren't necessarily a good idea according to a lot of people. But I've done this on a few cars and I've always been fine. You know, I drive kind of carefully. You know, you keep this stuff in mind. If I could get a nice brand new one of them suckers, I'd probably put it in, but you know, it's not doing anything, so it's coming out and it's going to make my life easier. So yeah, that's removing your rear axle, and that'll be the end of this video, and I'll show you replacing them bushings in another. So till then, thanks for watching.